Pretty soon, he'll just be another oil portrait lining these hallways.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the performers who bore an uncanny resemblance to the real-life people they played in historical movies.
But you have to see that all of this is hypocrisy.
That's right.
Number 10. Gary Oldman as Winston Churchill, Darkest Hour. Once news dropped that there was a movie about Prime Minister Winston Churchill's leadership during World War II, everyone knew Gary Oldman was about to win an Oscar.
Draw the Nazi focus away from Dunkirk whilst we execute a maritime evacuation of our forces. Is that possible?
It would mean a huge sacrifice.
Well, the movie itself was received by some critics as a naked attempt to gobble up some awards. Darkest Hour's most thrilling moments come courtesy of Oldman's excellent performance.
When will the lesson be learned? When will the lesson be learned?
In the climactic scene, where he gives one of the leader's best-remembered speeches, he really does disappear into the role.
We shall not flag or fail. We shall go on to the end!
Given how many times we've seen Oldman on screen in very different roles, it's no wonder he can disappear so completely. He's trained us to see the character instead of the actor, even one as towering as Winston Churchill.
We shall never surrender!
Number 9. Helen Mirren as Queen Elizabeth II, the Queen. It's one thing to play a reigning queen who's been dead for centuries, but it's a whole other can of worms to play the one currently sitting on the throne.
Mrs. Blair, lovely to see you again. And congratulations. You must be very proud.
That was what Helen Mirren did in this 2006 historical drama, which depicts Queen Elizabeth II's reaction to the media frenzy surrounding Princess Diana's 1997 death in a car wreck. The actress's commitment to the role is evident in every frame.
Since last Sunday's dreadful news, we have seen throughout Britain and around the world an overwhelming expression of sadness at Diana's death.
She is the spitting image of the then head of the royal family, from her furrowed brow and downturned mouth to her stoic leadership and conservative approach to showing emotion.
May those who died rest in peace, and may we, each and every one of us, thank God for someone who made many, many people happy.
Number 8. Meryl Streep as Margaret Thatcher, the Iron Lady. Her accent is incredible as always, but without longtime makeup artist J. Roy Helland and prosthetic designer Mark Collier, Meryl Streep would have just sounded like Margaret Thatcher.
I should just like to say that I take very seriously the trust placed in me by the British people today.
In makeup and costume, she's spellbindingly close to the real woman, portraying the former Prime Minister as she rises through the ranks of Parliament on the way to becoming the UK's highest elected official. The Iron Lady is arguably Streep's most uncanny film work.
The Falkland Islands belong to Britain, and I want them back.
Beneath that trademark helmet of hair and steely gaze, she is a mask of uncompromising authority, immovable and kind of terrifying. Streep and her makeup team won well-deserved Oscars for the movie.
Gentlemen, as the Lord President has chosen to come to Cabinet unprepared, I shall have to close the meeting.
Number 7. Marian Kar as Edith Piaf, La Vie en Rose. Carefully researched and brimming with heartfelt emotion, Marian Kar's performance as the French chanteuse is something that has to be seen to be believed.
Quand la mort nous fauche, c'est notre plus beau jour, cloche, sonnez-vous.
And the perfect makeup job is essential to creating the character of Edith Piaf. Part of what makes La Vie en Rose so unforgettable is that Cotillard plays Piaf through several stages of her relatively short life.
Je veux m'en sortir. Je peux.
The movie volleys back and forth between various years of Piaf's life, from her troubled youth to a middle age marked by chronic pain and disappointment.
Il n'y aura pas d'Olympia.
With her face painted to resemble Piaf's, including her distinctive pencil-thin eyebrows, Cotillard's work is more than mimicry. It's alchemy.
En tout cas, vous, quand vous invitez, vous vous ruinez pas.
Number 6. Ana de Armas as Marilyn Monroe, Blonde. Great actors have given successful performances as the mid-century screen goddess, but few have ever truly radiated the way Monroe did on screen.
Someone special?
Although Blonde was lambasted by many critics, who felt it was disrespectful to Marilyn Monroe's legacy, Ana de Armas was widely praised. Not only was her performance incredibly believable, but she manages in some scenes to recapture the woman herself rather than just the screen image.
Well, that's just studio publicity.
In shimmering blonde and made up in the styles of the time, she managed to give equal time to both the effortlessness of Monroe's star persona and the very real pain in her life.
What business of yours is my life?
Whether it's in stills or in motion, there are moments where it almost seems like Marilyn's been resurrected.
It's like a happy ending of a long, confused movie.
Number 5. Morgan Freeman as Nelson Mandela, Invictus. Based on events surrounding the 1995 Rugby World Cup, Invictus fully utilizes the legendary Morgan Freeman's commanding voice and presence.
You elected me your leader. Let me lead you now.
The film follows former prisoner and South African President Nelson Mandela as he encourages the country's entry into the Rugby World Cup in the name of racial unity.
We must all exceed our own expectations.
Freeman, who was hand-chosen by Mandela, tempers his usual strength with the real man's humility and vulnerability. The actor noted how Mandela's own sense of self inspired his performance. He did not want to play a great man. He wanted to play a man of conviction.
Forgiveness liberates the soul. It removes fear. That is why it is such a powerful weapon.
With his stature and gravitas, Freeman somehow plays against his physical similarities to Nelson Mandela to find the real person.
You're risking your political capital. You're risking your future as our leader.
The day I am afraid to do that is the day I am no longer fit to lead.
Number 4. Ben Kingsley as Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhi. Given the nature of Gandhi's life and work, any film about him is likely to attract some controversy and questions about accuracy.
If we obtain our freedom by murder and bloodshed, I want no part of it.
While many criticize director Richard Attenborough's saintly portrayal of the real-life Indian leader, few would argue actor Ben Kingsley didn't bear a striking resemblance.
All nations contain religious minorities. Like other countries, ours will have its problems. But they will be ours, not yours.
Kingsley threw himself into the role, shaving his head completely bald. He also committed to a vegetarian diet that helped him shed 20 pounds.
This salt comes from the Indian Ocean. Let every Indian claim it as his right.
The physical resemblance is amazing, but it's his ability to be soft-spoken and fill the screen with his whole presence that makes him seem larger than life, much like the real Gandhi.
Now, if you'll excuse me, there is something I must attend to.
Number 3. Denzel Washington as Malcolm X. Malcolm X. Director Spike Lee's dramatic rendering of the life, times, and fierce activism of Malcolm X runs over 3 hours long, and it rises and falls completely on the performance of his star.
We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. Landed right on top of us.
Portraying the human rights leader, Denzel Washington is asked to channel the real man's power, charisma, and intelligence for the entire runtime. That would be a steeper hill to climb if not for the way Washington really does channel Malcolm X.
When you have a powder keg and there's too many sparks around it, the thing's going to explode.
As the character ages, growing out his facial hair and refining his speeches, we watch the process of how the star becomes his subject.
It's time for martyrs now.
He disappears behind Malcolm's careful but pointed way of speaking and his measured gestures and mannerisms.
Let the black man have his own house. Let the black man have his own land and his own property.
Number 2. Jamie Foxx as Ray Charles. Ray. Blind since childhood, soul singer, composer, and pianist Ray Charles went on to become one of popular music's most influential and versatile performers.
Doesn't get any better than that, Ray.
Yeah, you know what? I love it.
His legacy was memorialized in the 2004 film Ray, anchored by Jamie Foxx's Academy Award-winning performance.
Atlantic Records has been good to me, but if you want me to do something special, I'm gonna need my own band.
Up to then, Foxx was mostly known for comedy, but a dramatic turn in another biopic, Ali, brought attention to his aptitude for drama. Foxx turned out to be the perfect choice, nailing Charles's distinctive look and characteristic movements at every turn.
Yeah, get over here. You gotta help me with this one. Percy just sent me some new music.
The actor even got the blessing of the man himself, who sat in while Foxx showcased his piano skills. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Austin Butler as Elvis Presley. Elvis. Who would have thought the former teen star would be a dead ringer for the king?
So don't you mess around with me.
Salma Hayek as Frida Kahlo. Frida. She played the iconic artist whose look was as recognizable as her work.
Hi, doctor. If you let me have this tequila, I promise not to drink at my funeral.
Kate Blanchett as Queen Elizabeth I. Elizabeth. Based on portraits, the movie recreates the Queen's look to a T. Robert Downey Jr. as Charlie Chaplin. Chaplin. He has the real film legend's look and mannerisms down pat.
This is my work.
Anthony Hopkins as Alfred Hitchcock. Hitchcock. Through expert prosthetics, Hopkins provides the director's famously droll expression.
Perfect.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Daniel Day-Lewis as Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln. His painstaking, if obsessive commitment to his roles is the stuff of Hollywood legend.
I admire your zeal, Mr. Stevens, and I have tried to profit from the example of it.
But the star of the Civil War set biopic is miraculous as the 16th president. The famous iconography of Honest Abe, with his bushy dark beard and top hat, has made him an American icon. Daniel Day-Lewis embodies him totally.
We're unready for peace, too, ain't we? Yeah, when it comes, it'll present us with conundrums and dangers greater than any we faced during the war, bloody as it's been.
His Lincoln is not a stoic hero. He struggles and maneuvers and sweats to achieve his political goals of abolition in post-Civil War America.
But say all we've done is show the world that democracy isn't chaos. That there is a great invisible strength in a people's union.
In fact, it may be because he looks just like the Lincoln we remember from school that his choices as an actor really shine.
Shall we stop this bleeding?
Which of these actors do you think most resembled their character? Tell us in the comments.
I suppose it's time to go. Though I would rather stay.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.